Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
It's Terrence.
That's Aspen in the back, and we're here at the Boom Boom Room.
Yeah.
And damn it, 2016, stop taking our freaking people.
No.
Stop taking some good people. We've already lost David Bowie.
Yeah.
We've lost Glenn Fry from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And now, last week, we lose Chyna, WWE champion.
Exactly.
WWE Intercontinental champion.
First woman. She actually got one of the regular belts.
That's right. First woman to win the IC belt. First woman to get entered into the Royal Rumble. Broke down barriers. She bursted on the scene with D-Generation X. Silent Bodyguard, right? And then she ended up, blossoming into her own character. Mm-hmm. Good, successful run. I personally think that the whole personal side with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon kind of ruined that for her. But
she could do Ray J. I hit it first.
Yeah, she could do Ray J. I hit it first. That's right. So Chyna, we're gonna miss you, obviously. But the biggest hit for us last week, man, and it made me shed a tear, and I don't even care because I shed a tear for Michael. Mm. I shed a tear for Prince.
Yeah, I mean, but still, somehow, Kanye lives. What is this?
Kanye lives.
Kanye lives.
To get fingered in the butt.
Okay, I didn't go that far, Kanye. I just said you should be.
But Prince was he was a major fixture inside in the music business. He kind of spread his wings out there a little bit in the movie industry with the iconic Purple Rain.
Under the Cherry Moon.
Under the Cherry Moon.
Graffiti Bridge. Yeah. Produced many groups. Morris Day in the time. Vanity 6.
Apollonia 6?
Apollonia 6 when they replaced Vanity.
Which I'm glad you brought that up. We lost Vanity too.
And we lost Vanity. That's right.
We lost Vanity too.
So the New Power Generation too. Man, he did a lot of groups.
Yes, he did. And numerous awards. He won 7 Grammys. A lot of tunes that just they're part of pop culture forever.
Right.
So with the
Manic Monday,
the Bengals. He did it with the Bengals.
Yeah.
He helped out the Bengals. He collaborated with a lot of great people. So he, like I said, he transcended the whole music industry. He was a little bit of cross between James Brown, little Jimi Hendrix, with a little bit of Michael Jackson, maybe.
Yeah, even though they had that time during the late 80s, early 90s,
going back
where they're kind of going back and forth. But, I can see some of the influence in there. But one of the great things about Prince is that he was always a person where we now live in a time and age where obviously with ghostwriting for rappers and stuff like that, and even music artists for the longest time have had people write their songs. Prince always did everything himself. If you ever looked at his album covers, it always said, written by, composed by, music by. Everything was done by Prince. He did everything. Yeah. So it wasn't ever one of those things where he had somebody come help him do an album or a song or something like that. If you heard a Prince song, you knew that it was something that he came up with on his own, and it was all his own influence. So that was one of the great things about him. A musical genius.
Yes, and he was a big advocate for the rights of the artists, going up against stuff like YouTube, Pandora, and all these companies that were trying to pretty much just take credit for their music and all that stuff. So he was he actually fought for the artist's voice out there, for those musicians and all that stuff. So he was really big with that
time and period when especially with his label when he changed his name to the symbol and stuff like that, because he was going through a thing with his label trying to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So with the passing, Warner Brothers has decided to re-release Purple Rain in select AMC theaters. I guess they're trying to squeeze something out of it, I guess.
Aww.
But now that's from a corporate standpoint. From a fan, I mean, it's an awesome thing. I love it.
Great. I would like to see it in high definition.
See it in the big screen and all that again. So that would be awesome to see it again. But AMC will be releasing it across the nation for I think a week.
Okay.
I think a week, so it's going to be really good to see all that, and it introduces it to a new generation, especially Morris Day and the Time and Apollonia and all these different like you said, branches of the Prince family. Mm-hmm. So I just wish that because Vanity was actually supposed to be in Purple Rain.
Yeah, and they kicked out of the group.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway, so hey, much love to Prince, man. We love you. We're gonna miss you, and
I would prefer
you're a legend now.
In Purple Rain, in that lake of the wash your face in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka, to see, would you have preferred Apollonia in that scene or Vanity?
Vanity.
Oh man.
No, I'm just kidding. It's Apollonia all day. Apollonia was like one of my first crushes. Her and Phoebe Cates were like my 80s crushes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, definitely. So with those passings, we have another passing. The passing of the New 52 in DC Comics.
Oh yeah, because they're doing Rebirth.
New 52 is gone. Rebirth will start May 2016. And, we got a bunch of reboots of everything. You got Batman will be pretty much focused on the identity of the Joker, stuff like that. You got a bunch of different characters. Like one character in particular, they haven't said who, I guess, but is going to actually die. A major character in DC is going to die.
Nobody ever dies. Oh, everybody dies in comics.
Yeah, well, they say that this is for real, I guess. Hey, but this time's for real. So they're going to die. One major character is going to die. Others are going to be reintroduced. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this rebirth?
Well, okay, so we used to live in a time and age back in comics. I don't want to say back in my age because comics are way older than I am, but when you had to do, and I know a little off-camera thing we had, it was about actually numbering and continuing a timeline. Comics had a timeline, and you had to, if you wanted to jump into comics, sometimes you had to do a little bit of your homework and follow up and read the previous issues. Now, in this time and age, because they feel like not enough people are buying it, and people are afraid to jump in when the numbers are so high that they want to reboot every now and then. Trust me, he made a face because there's a thing off camera that we had, conversation we had off camera. But people, as they reboot them, is to give chances for people, for younger generations to jump in, or people who've been interested, so they don't have to do all the research to catch up to where they are in the current storyline. So I understand why they're doing it. I understand why they're doing Rebirth, but I think it's coming too quickly. New 52 was only a few years ago.
It was, oh my goodness, what is it, 09 maybe?
Something like, it was only a few years ago, and it's like, you're not that far behind, and it's like 12 issues a year, come on. So a couple of years go by, it's not that big. Read some issues, people. So for them to do it again is a little discouraging, because a lot of times when they do these reboots, they throw away all the good things that they built on in the last reboot with the original storylines, and they start all over again, and then the new writer or the new artist wants to do something different and have take on their own spin, and you get something completely different. So a lot of things like I said, you kind of accept, and you're like, oh man, I really like the way they do it. You're starting over, and they may not do that again. So that's the only problem I have about it. So when Rebirth, reboot and Rebirth, when Rebirth was announced, I was kind of a little bit down on it. So I didn't get to, I didn't like the last.
You really couldn't enjoy New 52? Is that what you're saying?
No,
because they rebooted it.
Because I think the last thing I had saw was Commissioner Gordon was Batman when he had the mech suit on, stuff like that looked like bunny ears and stuff like that. You don't watch anime, so there's a cartoon called Tiger and Bunny, and it reminded me a lot of Tiger. If you watch anime, you know what Tiger and Bunny is. If you watch anime, you probably read comic books, so you know the correlation that I'm making. So anyway, that's how I feel about Rebirth.
And you know what? You bring up a good point, especially with like in the cinematic, where you got Spider-Man being rebooted pretty much. It was rebooted and it was reintroduced in 2002, rebooted again in 07, and now it's rebooting again.
Exactly. See how frustrated we are as movie watchers. For comic book readers, it's frustrating too.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, this one is going to have the Vulture. It's going to have different. It's not going to have the Goblin. It's not going to have characters that we've already seen before. Much like the original, not the original. Well, the original had the Goblin, and then the Garfield, the first Garfield one had Lizard and not Goblin. Goblin didn't come till the second one.
We can't do a Spider-Man.
So it's like how many? So how many times? So you're right. I get you. I completely agree with you on everything on that. So. We're going to have to wait to see in May in the summer, see how it goes.
Support your local comic book store. There's a event coming up, Free Comic Book Day on May 11th or May 7th.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll take you to that, babe.
Off camera, that's our daughter or something. So April 26th just passed, and that was Alien Day. How did you celebrate Alien Day?
How did I celebrate?
Well, I celebrated Alien Day by doing absolutely nothing.
Well, yeah, okay, well, I did that too.
No,
that's how I celebrate every day.
I clip every day is Alien Day. I just saw a bunch of clips and stuff, from Aliens and the first Alien, and it didn't. I didn't realize how freaking Aliens is so much better than the first one, but I think it was because they had so many aliens, whereas in the first one they only had one alien.
Because the original in Alien, it was a horror movie. In Aliens, it was a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
So it depends on what type of genre you were more into. So some people prefer the original Alien because it was more claustrophobic. It was one alien hunting them down, and this was Space Marines and aliens.
You know, when you got iconic movies in horror movies in the beginning, like even just the tags like Jaws 2, you know, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water. You know, Alien had in space, no one can hear you scream. That was so freaking awesome, and it was just so true. But the more I see it, and the more I was watching things on the 26th, the more disappointed I am in Prometheus.
Oh man, I like Prometheus. I just didn't like the end.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't like the end. How come they don't just the next Alien movie is not called like Aliens apostrophe?
Well, Alien 5 is actually going to be coming out pretty soon, and it is from director Neil Blomkamp, who did, you know, his favorite movie, Chappie, and District 9. And
District 9 was old.
District 9 was actually pretty good. Anyway, so they have they've released concept art of a grown-up Newt, because they are going to bring Newt back for Alien 5, pretty much disregarding Alien 3 and Resurrection, not necessarily saying they didn't exist, but kind of just getting away from that to where this is a direct sequel to Aliens and the first Alien. So this is technically Alien 3 with a grown-up Newt, and they're trying to get Carrie Henn, who actually played Newt when she was a kid, to come back. Neil Blomkamp really wants her back. She has not confirmed whether or not she is. Now, she did attend the premiere on Alien Day. She did attend the screening for Alien. Michael Biehn is going to be coming back as Hicks, and he's already stated that he definitely wants to do it. He's going to do it, but Michael Biehn ain't done nothing in forever. So after the travesty of him being recasted in freaking Terminator Genesis, I don't blame him. So
the only thing I have a problem with this is because I even saw that there was an interview with Sigourney Weaver, and they asked her about it, and she said she read the script. The script was great. They're really excited to do this movie with Neil Blomkamp, or how you pronounce his name. But they announced a trilogy for this movie, if it gets made, is not coming out. You'll be old by the time
I think this one's coming out.
Michael Biehn and Sigourney Weaver will be in wheelchairs.
I think this
trying to run from aliens.
Sigourney Wheeler?
Yeah. Sigourney Wheeler.
Sigourney Wheeler with the freaking wheelchair. I think it's coming out in either 18 or 19, possibly.
So how are we going to squeeze in the other ones?
Well, Covenant actually does. I think it's already either done wrap or it's in the middle of post-production, and it will be coming out next year, August of 2017. So the Covenant is that one's part of the Prometheus trilogy that Ridley Scott was doing. This will actually be. I mean, it's still a prequel, so that'll be coming out next year.
We still got another one he's squeezing in, and at the very fastest, because he's not back to back in these movies. So I'm saying 19 before he finished his third one, and then we can get the Blomkamp.
Unless they're
21, 22.
Unless they're released simultaneously.
This movie's gonna come out before it, or it'll come out after we get the Black Adam. The Shazam movie. It's like, I don't know which one's gonna come out first, the Shazam or this one, because both of them seem like they ain't never coming out.
Well, with the Rock schedule, geez, you're right. Who knows when, right?
Well, they had already, when they first signed it, they pushed it to 2019. So if that one's got pushed to 2019 and they ain't talked about it, this one ain't making it before 2019. I'm telling you, it's gonna be 2020, and we're gonna basically be talking about flying cars and teleportation machines. Before we get to that, we'll be seeing real aliens before this movie come out.
So it'll be interesting. Maybe they will go parallel. You never know. I don't know. But
I have too many aliens.
I can't freaking wait. So happy belated Alien Day to everybody. Freaking awesome. Now, Terrence actually mentioned a little while ago about anime, and one of the most popular animated movies ever is A Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Now,
that and Akira.
That and Akira. Akira's awesome. I love Akira. You remember Battle of the Planets?
Yeah.
I freaking love that show, man.
Yeah.
I used to love that show with the freaking blue visor.
Yeah, they retitled it. It was the G-Force.
G-Force, yeah. What were we talking about again?
I don't know.
Anyway, so
Back on track.
Back on track. We're back. All right. So Ghost in the Shell is going to be released with Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
Now, there's been a little bit of a controversy concerning this because Scarlett Johansson is not of the Asian descent. So they're calling it whitewashing.
Yes.
So how do you feel about this whole thing? Because Tilda Swinton is also in the middle of this because of her character of the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. If you go back and watch the trailer, awesome trailer, by the way, for Doctor Strange. You haven't seen it, go look at that trailer. Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be friggin' awesome in that role. I would have liked to see Johnny Depp, but whatever. Anyway, so Tilda Swinton's in the middle of this now, and she was actually interviewed and talked about it, and she said that the Ancient One is not an Asian character. They didn't tell her to play an Asian character. They just told her to play the character.
Right.
Which, if you really think about it too, the Ancient One is actually a man, and she's female, so either way, they're still going against they're going against the whole character as it is anyway. They're reimagining the character in a way.
It's and I see both sides. I totally see both sides. After the Oscar so white thing, I totally see both sides. But I guess we'll take one at a time. In regards to the Tilda Swinton thing, there is the character, they drew the character Asian, and he was up in the mountains and stuff like that, but really the Ancient One, I mean, what he really is whatever he really chooses to be, I guess, in metaphysical form and stuff like that. So they left a little bit more gray area for Marvel to change it, and Marvel was trying to add more females to their cinematic universe. So I see why they picked Tilda Swinton. There's always the argument that they could have added an Asian character in their cinematic universe. I mean, because what Asian characters do they have in the MCU? None. So that's why people get mad at that.
Well, the scientist on the Ultron.
So yeah, that's why people get mad at that. The one who's all obsessed with Thor. So that's why people get mad at that. So I get that, especially thinking about the MCU as well, because in the Netflix series for Iron Fist, I mean, he is a white character, but it was another opportunity for them to put an Asian character because his whole thing is martial arts and magic and stuff like that. So that's why people were a little bit more sensitive with that particular. Like I said, the character itself could be anything it really wants to be as the Ancient One. So it's not really tied to it being an Asian character. That's why she said that. How do I feel about it? I mean, the MCU's different anyway. I mean, they can do whatever changes they want to change it. I mean, you look at all the stuff they've done, it's not to the comic book exactly, so no big deal. Now, when we get to the Scarlett Johansson one, I understand why they did it, because
she's a name.
She's a name, and she carried Lucy by herself.
Yes, and she
made a lot of money.
And she was excellent in that. But when you go and you actually start making her look Asian, that kind of is a problem. And we were actually talking about this.
They denied it.
We were talking about, yeah, but come on, everybody knows it. So we were also talking about it as far as Exodus, because Exodus had the same issue with Joel Edgerton.
And they pushed the whole simple fact that they were trying to put big names in there, and that's the reason why they didn't say whitewash, but that's the reason why they cast I can't even get the word I want to say. That's the reason why they whitewashed Exodus. I would just keep what I was going to say. That's the reason why because they were trying to put bigger names in that. But still, there are good actors out there that are not getting these opportunities. We could make a big star in these particular films.
Absolutely.
For an Asian character, I mean, there are young Asian actresses that we've seen in other films that this would have been a great break for them.
Right, and you go back to episode 8 where they're bringing in Kelly Marie Tran, and who is basically an unknown, and they're giving her a shot at this. You go with Daisy Ridley if you want to say that, because Daisy Ridley, I mean, you give a female that kind of a role, that kind of a responsibility to carry that big of a franchise on your shoulders and succeed. I mean, it's just, Hollywood needs to just stop being afraid. They're being lazy, actually, that's what it is, but they need to stop being afraid and actually let these artists, these hungry artists, what would they be doing back in the 70s if they kept hiring, Brando and Bogart or whoever was alive back then, and not hire Pacino, De Niro, Duvall.
We'd have movies like Rising Sun, where Sean Connery was Asian, or we'd have movies like, what was the submarine one, Red Hunt?
Hunt for October.
Hunt for Red October, when he's supposed to be Russian. That's what we get when you do this.
Yeah,
that's what we
but
get.
you understand what I'm saying, though? I mean, it's like if you keep, you know, if you don't take a chance, it's okay to have the name and to be bankable and all that stuff. I get it. I understand that. But there comes a time where you can use those kind of names to complement somebody like that. You got the original trilogy, stars of the trilogy, to complement these 3 new actors in this thing. And that's what I'm talking about. That's courage. And look how, number 3 movie of all time, number 1 domestically of all time. So, you know, it's just a matter of taking that chance.
Not to take their side, but I do see a little bit of a point to it, because if they put in, and I threw out one earlier, and I can't remember her name now, but the girl who was in Pacific Rim, who played the other part controlling the mech suit. All right, if you put her in this film and you cast her as the major for Ghost in the Shell, and then people are like, who didn't watch Pacific Rim, who aren't familiar with the Ghost in the Shell property, say, I don't know what that is, and they just think of it as, and they look at it as a martial arts film or an Asian sci-fi film, and they don't go see it. To do this particular type of movie with the CGI they have to do to get to look like the actual anime, they're spending close to $200 million to do this film. If they don't make that movie back, you will never see another Ghost in the Shell. You won't see a sequel. Nobody will do any. You will never see Akira. You will never see that happen. So I understand.
Like Eon Flux.
Yeah, that's exactly when they did with Charlize Theron.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's an Asian. Well, was it an Asian character? I can't remember. But anyway, so that's the reason why they don't want to do it, is because if it does not succeed, then they won't do it again. Every other studio will look at it and say, well, we're not doing that, and they just won't do it again. But if it does succeed, it opens the door for everybody. So somebody's gonna have to take a chance.
Exactly, and that's my point. Especially with a lot of these properties, especially with anime. And there's a lot of, like you said, Akira that you mentioned. There's a lot of different animated movies that fits to the North Star. I mean, you got a bunch of stuff that.
And I watched that too.
Yeah, you see what I mean? So I mean, they just need to take a chance, like you said, and give some of these actors a chance, man, because there's a lot of talent out there that they're just sitting on the bench, but you just keep bringing in the old stuff over and over again and not trying to integrate them. So I hope Hollywood gets it together.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Fist of the North Star, there is a live action film for it. It is like it's like a D.
It's I didn't even want to watch it.
It's not even a B movie. It's like a D level movie. Yeah. But if you're a fan of Fist of the North Star, it's out there.
I've seen better acting in porn. Sorry, honey. Sorry. Anyway, so hey. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy news. We were talking about Marvel there earlier. Mm-hmm. Guardians of the Galaxy news. Nathan Fillion got introduced as or confirmed actually that he is going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and he will be playing Wonder Man.
Right. So
how do you see now? He was actually in Guardians of the Galaxy 1
as one of the aliens.
One of the aliens, so he's not new to this. And of course, he's got the cult following, obviously with Castle, and Castle's coming to an end probably. But he's always had a cult following with Firefly.
Right.
So now brings him back, full circle as far as science fiction is concerned, and
tie into Guardians of
the Galaxy. How do you feel about him and being included in this? He's an amazing actor. Mm-hmm. I freaking love Nathan Fillion. He should be Nathan Drake, but you say he's too old. I don't care. I would still take him as Nathan Drake all day in Uncharted.
I mean, if they do Uncharted 4 Nathan Drake, then yeah, he fits perfectly for that.
So see what I mean? So he's got to be Nathan
Drake. Uncharted 1.
How do you feel about Nathan Fillion being one?
I mean, all Marvel has done is brought in good talent for all their films. They brought in whether it be top A-list names to up and coming B-listers. Nathan Fillion's somebody he's a great actor. He's carried franchises, or at least smaller franchises. He's carried them up. He'll be a great addition to this film. The character that he's playing is a little weird for their universe and the storylines that they've already set up, because his character with Wonder Man has relations to the Vision and how the Vision was created. So with some brainwave scans and stuff like that, nerds, look it up. You guys know what I'm talking about. But so it's a little interesting how they're gonna, because what they showed so far was like they showed posters and cameos and announced that he was gonna be in the film. So don't really know how they're gonna use him and how they're actually gonna bring this Wonder Man character, how they're gonna bring Wonder Man into the universe. But it's going to make it a little weird when we actually introduced him to the Avengers, because he was an Avenger as well.
He was an Avengers, that's right.
I can't wait to see how it unfolds later on. But I'm great to have him on board in the universe. I mean, we're all Marvel, we're all not DC haters, but we.
Well, the DC's already having a hard time as it is. I mean, they're struggling so bad. They have to reboot their stuff from 6-7 years ago to get. Never mind. All right. Anyway,
we all love Marvel. We all love DC. We love comic books all together. So it really doesn't matter. I want to see it all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. He's a great talent, so we'll see how it does fit. But for like you said, them adding Kurt Russell to the mix. They're adding. I think. Vin Diesel obviously will be back. Bradley Cooper will be back.
I am good. All that money to say 3 words.
Say 3 words. That's good. That's a gig there. That's a gig right there. Yeah. So hey, good luck, Nathan. In horror news, video game news, we were talking about. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Friday the 13th.
We were talking about Friday the 13th.
Because that's where you're trying to go to next in your card.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th video game is coming out pretty soon. And for those of you that haven't seen the trailers for the show, for the game, it's actually pretty interesting. It's a POV, first person. You get to be either Jason or the victim. So it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting concept. Very gory. He just made an appearance on the Mortal Kombat X game, and he was excellent. He's an awesome playable character in that. I really hope that another one puts Freddy Krueger in there so we can really get Freddy versus Jason in there, because they put in Leatherface, which is awesome. But so these horror icons are they're making their way into the video games, and the way video games have improved as far as the graphics and all that, and the ability to tell a story in the video game. Right. I think it's going to breathe new life to the horror icons.
At least the ones that we grew up with in the 80s and early 90s.
Right.
So,
not like that freaking Atari. Worst video game ever, Atari Friday the 13th, where you throw the rock. You throw the rock at Jason.
Oh, yeah. I actually saw some gameplay of that. I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of crappy.
Yes, very, very crappy.
The things that we had to do, you had to play as kids. You guys are all so spoiled.
You are very spoiled.
So spoiled.
We're still waiting for the reboot of the movie. The original remake that they brought out in 2009 starred Derek Mears as Jason. And they made him really freaking awesome, because they made him kind of like a survival hunter in the woods instead of just your mindless killer, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was a survivor. He was like...
Wait, which one is this?
The reboot of 2009 Friday the 13th that Derek Mears played.
Is it survivalist?
Yeah, he looked...
Did I not watch that?
I mean, he had a freaking... I mean, just look at him. Look at the way he performed Jason, the way he made Jason.
I know I watched
he was like a hunter. That's what I liked about him.
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with that. But I was like,
it was just amazing.
But I must have blacked that movie out of my mind.
The movie was okay. What I liked about it was that they meshed all 4 movies in one. With the first 4 anyway.
Because they knew they weren't getting a sequel.
Probably. But Derek Mears was just amazing as Jason. I really, really hope they at least bring him back, because he just did an amazing job. But in the meantime, just enjoy him on Mortal Kombat X, and enjoy him on this new video game that's coming out pretty soon. So we talk about Prince. Talk about, all the people we've lost, especially, in the music world that we've lost. Right. Bowie, and like I said, Fry, now Prince. Hank Williams, we've lost Hank Williams.
Yeah.
So we've lost Hank Williams Jr., Merle Haggard. We've lost some pretty good people there. So maybe think about the movies that tied into this.
Okay.
So now it's time for our top 5. So today's top 5 is going to be the top 5 best music movies. Now, these are movies that have come out that have music in them, whether they're tied to actual people or just musicals or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So, Terrence!
All right.
Go first.
Okay, so we're going to do this. I'll do it pretty quickly. So, my number 5, Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton made my number 5 list because I felt like it was an impactful film. It was something that I hadn't seen in any type of music documentary or music film or music movie that contained music. So I mean, it was a great representation, even though maybe all the events weren't true or factual, but it was an enjoyable.
D Brown didn't get punched.
Yeah, D Brown. we didn't see none of the dark side of Dre. Hey, Dre was an angel in this film, and everybody blamed Easy. But I mean, it was still a great film for what it was. It was enjoyable, and the music that was in it, I mean, it brought you back to that time.
Absolutely.
It made you remember when you were a kid listening to it. So I mean, it was just a great film. All right, number 4. It's upside down. I'm from Detroit, guys, if you guys didn't know. So my number 4 is going to be
8 Mile.
8 Mile. Come on. We're gonna 8 Mile. We got to represent for Eminem.
That's hilarious.
So, I mean, just the movie itself, it had, even though Eminem even came out and said they took some events from his life, but it's not really his life story. They wanted to make it so it was something that he could relate to.
Like as far as just the theatrics part of it? Is that
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some things about him battling, you know, living in a trailer park, you know, his mom and his relationship with her.
So you mean his mom wasn't Kim Basinger?
No, well, I mean, maybe.
Was she Vicky
You heard
Vale?
it first.
Was she Vicky Vale?
Was she Vicky Vale? But it took themes from his life, and like I said, it was gritty. You know, it was a rags to riches story. You know, and if you're a big Eminem fan, like most of the world is, you know, you got to see one. He did a pretty good job as a first-time actor.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it was just a great film. Once again, music was great in it. I mean, the soundtrack he did.
Won an Oscar?
Yeah, watching about won an Oscar. I mean,
He won an Oscar for Lose Yourself.
all right, so yeah, it was just a great film. So, number 3.
With the dogs barking.
Speaking of dogs barking, Grease.
Grease.
I put
That's
Grease.
interesting.
Black man put Grease on his
Black man put Grease. Wouldn't put Richard Pryor in his top 5, but he puts Grease.
Grease is on my top 5 musical films because I can't even deny how iconic this film is, and you know, people still karaoke Summer Lovin'. As much as I hate, and I like karaoke, but I hate hearing Summer Lovin' being. But it's one of those films where
Raspberry Beret, that's his go-to song.
exactly. So, but it made stars out of John Travolta. I mean, that was one of his big break films.
Oh, absolutely. Stalker Channing.
Yeah,
Stalker
so-
Channing, Tony, I think she's Emmy Award winner. You got freaking, you got old school guys from your show of shows of Sid Caesar, Eve Arden. You have all these old comic guys that came out in there. So yeah, definitely. Olivia Newton-John, obviously big, back in overseas. Yeah.
I mean, started her her music career, but I was thinking
It helped.
it was a major introduction to people who didn't listen to her.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that's why it's at my number 3. So number 2, Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
I put Purple Rain at number 2, obviously because it was going to be high on the list because me being a big Prince fan and a fan of all the music in there was songs that he wrote. Every song was great. Even
Computer Blue. I did not like Computer Blue.
Look, every song in there was a masterpiece. A masterpiece.
The Beautiful Ones, excellent, underrated song, by the way.
Every song in there was a masterpiece. I was gonna say Darling Nikki.
Darling Nikki too. Even though they didn't have the third verse in there, but
Yeah,
it's all
the
right.
third verse. No, nobody knows the third verse, and it freaks me out every time I have to do it in karaoke because I always have a problem remembering the third verse. But anyway, it was a great film. Once again, another movie that's based on themes from a person's life, and
Right.
it was based on themes from his life.
Semi-autobiographical, yeah.
Semi-autobiographical. So it wasn't true facts, but things of him living in Minnesota and stuff like that, and coming. But anyway, it was a great film. I mean, stop rambling on.
I'm curious, what is number 1?
You can't guess number 1?
No.
Blues Brothers.
That was one of my top 5
Blues Brothers.
TV adaptations.
Yeah, man, come on, Blues Brothers. And it's like
Excellent. I love it.
I had to go back and forth if I wanted to make it number 2 or number 1 with Purple Rain, but it's just one of everybody loves Blues Brothers. I love
Absolutely.
Purple Rain, but everybody loves.
I love Blues Brothers 2000.
Everybody loves Blues Brothers. I have most quotable lines I could think of from any type of musical film like that.
Absolutely.
And, Aretha Franklin being in it, Ray Charles being in it,
James Brown being
in it. I mean, come on, it was such a great film from two guys that weren't really a musical group.
Really, and
Saturday Night Live skit.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's
Absolutely.
what makes that film so great, and that it was even after his death, he's still immortalized as this character.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my number 1.
Well, that and Bluto Boltarski from Animal House.
Yeah, that too. But that was a long time ago.
All right, so my number five is gonna shock you, but I can't help it because and a lot of the ones that you got, we're probably gonna have there's a lot of similarities in our list, but this one's gonna be a different one, and that's Amadeus.
Really?
I freaking love Amadeus. Tom Hulce. I don't even think he was nominated for a freaking Oscar for this role, but he was excellent. And at the time, he was really in nothing. And as a matter of fact, I don't remember seeing him in much of anything after that besides Parenthood. Mm-hmm. So I loved his acting in it. I loved F. Murray Abraham's role in it. You know, got him the Oscar for that role. But just that movie was so freaking excellent. If you have not seen it, go see Amadeus. Amadeus is excellent.
Closest I ever came to seeing it was the one about the dogs.
Beethoven. Very nice. Charles Grodin, good guy. All right, number 4. It's very similar. 8 Mile. 8 Mile is freaking excellent, and just like T said, for it being his first role besides The Wash with friggin' Dre and Snoop,
he was all like,
yeah, he was all psycho, all freaking crazy. Anyway, this movie, you know, really let him show what he had as far as he basically played himself, but it was still an excellent movie. He was surrounded by a really good cast, like I said, Kim Basinger, Mekhi Phifer. So you got these this good you know, support group as far as actors are concerned to kind of help him guide. And you know, the last battle scene. The last rap battle scene was very reminiscent of Rocky, where he gets his ass kicked in the first time, then he comes back and just tears it up. It's just amazing. His rap battle scene at the end was just awesome. And like I said, he even won an Oscar for and I believe he's the first hip hop artist to win an Oscar, because 3 6 Mafia won it after for Hustle and Flow.
Okay, because I was just about to say that.
He should be I think he is the first hip hop artist to ever win an Oscar. So that's awesome. Number 3 is Ray. For me, Ray.
I thought about Ray.
Jamie Foxx's portrayal of this guy, to go as far as method to where he had his eyes glued shut, to actually
his eyes glued shut?
Yeah, to actually work side by side with Ray Charles before Ray Charles died. And I think the thing that helped him so much is because Jamie Foxx is very, very talented. I mean, he is a triple threat. He's a comedian, he's a great actor, and he's a freaking awesome musician.
Right.
So because he's so good at piano, and he played a lot of that himself.
I mean, because he plays piano.
Yeah, but it was excellent. He was just amazing. He deserved his freaking Oscar.
Just don't do electro again.
Number 2, don't ever do electro. Don't step foot, and you're not allowed to touch Spawn. I love you, but no. Number 2 originally was going to be the Blues Brothers, but I took it off because I already had it in a previous top 5. I'm doing my best not to repeat.
Okay.
So I put Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
And you want to talk about unknowns? Those 4 guys had nobody. The most notable name in there was Paul Giamatti, and he was excellent as Jerry Heller. But you know, other than that,
played Ren, because I've seen.
Well, I think he was in The Wire.
Oh, okay.
I think wasn't he in The Wire? I can't remember.
I'll put it in the video.
But all those guys were amazing. And Jason Mitchell, robbery that he was not nominated for an Oscar, because he was excellent as Eazy-E. All of the actors did a great job. The music was, like T said, the music was just amazing. Really took me back to high school, because that's where I got it from. So yeah, Compton was 2. Should have been nominated for a friggin' Oscar. And the number 1 for me is Purple Rain,
of course.
And the reason I picked Purple Rain is because it's the soundtrack to a lot of our youth.
Many Baby is born in that movie.
Exactly. But you got, you know, the soundtrack was just flawless. Prince had never acted before. You know, he introduced the world to Morris Day and the Time, who is pretty much still relevant just because of that movie. You know, because Jungle Love and The Bird are like the biggest, you know, songs they've ever done. You know, they had a brief number. I think they had a brief number 1 hit with Jerked Out back in the 90s. But other than that, they have never really made anything big.
No.
You know, so to bring them out like that, to introduce the world to Apollonia, to introduce this different style of music and funk and all that good stuff, he was just amazing. And, you know, again, solid supporting cast. He had Clarence Williams III with him. You know, he had I think the one that played his mom was actually a tenured actress at the time. So, you know, he had a little bit of support there. And I'm pretty sure the people at Warner Brothers too, from behind the scenes, had some stuff for him too. So, excellent movie. It was one of my favorite movies of all time as far as music is concerned. So, rest in peace, Prince. We freaking love you. We're gonna miss you forever. It's gonna suck now. I'm gonna go buy my purple. I'm gonna go buy my Purple Rain poster. It's gonna be awesome.
You know, and I just watched a thing from Saturday Night Live. They did a special presentation for him. Where they showed all his musical performances from Saturday Night Live, and they made a great comment that, you know, he owned the color purple. And it was like, if you saw purple, you just immediately
you thought exactly.
And it was like, that's how much of an impact that he had in society on just life in general. Was that, you know, he was remembered so much as a person, as a character, and that purple was his.
Yeah, and one of the greatest halftime performances in
In
Super
the
Bowl
rain.
history.
How perfect is that?
It was amazing. He's just amazing. So, like I said, it's gonna be a different world without you. So
Yeah, definitely.
Terrence, take us home.
All right. Okay. So, guys, it's been a minute, obviously, because this keeps happening, but it's been a minute. So, we don't want you guys to forget to make sure you comment on these videos. Definitely with the top fives. Let us know what you guys pick for your top fives. Let us know how you feel about our top fives. And yes, I will take your hate because that's what I seem to get with my top fives. But with that said, I do want to hear it because I want to have a conversation with you guys in regards to what you guys like, what you didn't like, and any other suggestions that you may have for a top five that maybe includes our information or includes our list or doesn't, maybe take something off. But also make sure you like because one, we want to know what you guys do like or what we do and what you don't like. And then definitely, and not least out of this whole thing, make sure you subscribe because if this is your first time watching a video, you subscribe, you get to know about all the other things that we do. This isn't the only video that we do. We do Star Wars videos, we do wrestling, we do
You don't hate.
You don't hate. I was trying to say that guilty pleasure movies with the You Don't Hate. So we do those type of films. So definitely make sure you subscribe so you can know when those things get posted and you can watch those and also be a part of that.
Yeah,
all right, so
absolutely.
I guess that's all I got.
So for Aspen to the back, I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
Game blouses. Okay, ready?
So when you need to do something, you're not gonna be able to do it because you're wearing.
Is that straight? We're straight.
Are you off?
Are we straight? Damn.
If you have to ask that question,
The truth is coming out.
you have to ask the question.
Damn. I like that restaurant Wiener Works. Whatever happened to that place? All right, ready?
Yeah, we're waiting for Miss Velcro over here.
Yeah.
De volada, hombre. Ándale, rollerball.
Takes a while. Recording, so.
Yeah.